So, do you actually think he's working on his Godzilla list? What makes you think he'll do that? This man can barely work on any video. Well, let's take a look. Alright, here we go! Be kidding me, he's watching Pokemon movies again! That's a little strange. I thought he was going through his Digimon marathon right now. You know what they say, much like Shrek 2, you gotta do something. What in the world does that even mean? Well, listen, I don't really know. I was trying to think of something clever. Why is he even watching Pokemon movies? Does he know that none of us care anymore? Okay, fine, I'll work on my Godzilla list. Yo, what is up, everybody? Wait, hold on a second. So, sorry it took me so long to actually get this video out, but I mostly just forgot to work on it, and I also had a lot of comic work I was doing. So, there's that in the factor. Oh, there are 34 Godzilla movies currently at the filming of this video. So, yeah, that's a little something. Just a heads up, though. This is basically my first actual, ranking video, and also something that has to do with movies. So, hopefully it'll be good. So, yeah, this is my first time. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let's just start the list off right now.
Hi, SpongeBob. I'm gonna kick your butt.
To be honest with you, there are only, 2 movies that could have been at number 34, and that movie was... Godzilla's Revenge is the absolute smelly, steaming doo-doo fresh out of 1969 of a movie I've ever seen. Listen, I understand this movie was made in a bit of a crunch. I mean, the people of Toho thought their prior movie, Destroy All Monsters, was going to be their last, but then they just decided, nope, here's a Godzilla clip show movie. Yeah, it's no secret that Godzilla's Revenge is well known for having the most stock footage out of every Godzilla film, probably. And the only movie I could think of having even more stock footage is Gamera Super Monster, but I expect that type of stuff from Daiei. Speaking of Gamera, this movie also has a Kenny straight from a Gamera movie. It's something, alright. Yeah, it's no secret that I, and pretty much everyone else on this planet, hates every time there's a kid in any kaiju film. So basically, the main story is about this dumbass kid who gets bullied so hard that he gets sold drugs by some random old dude, and those drugs make him start seeing Monster Island. How fun! Kill me! So yeah, All Monsters Attacks is very boring, cheap, childish, and disturbing. Why would anybody want to follow this dumb kid who just humps cars all day and Godzilla's brain-damaged son? And listen, I understand this is Godzilla, but Jesus Christ, the special effects in this one is so bad. I mean, the really only new thing they introduced is Gabba, who's probably one of the ugliest and dumbest looking kaiju. And yes, I think Ebera looks better than he does. Literally, what message are they trying to tell for this story? Hey kids, violence will always solve the answer, so you know what you should do? You should beat the snot out of your bullies. No, 1969 Toho Co. Ltd. movie kaiju film made for kids. That's no good.
Gee, that's pretty exciting.
So if there's one good thing I need to say about this movie, and that's that I 100% recommend it because of how awful it is. And to all of the people who defend this movie, I just have one question to ask you. Why?
That's a lot of fish.
Godzilla 1998 is a movie that I actually don't hate. Oh, don't get me wrong, this movie is still bad. I mean, it's literally number 33, but I think it gets a little overhated. Now, I understand Godzilla's design in this movie is, well, it's pretty ugly, but honestly, I kind of like Zilla. Also, I know his name is Godzilla in this movie, but for the sake of my sake, I'm just gonna call him Zilla. That's what I'm used to calling him. The effects in this movie are pretty good. Zilla's initial attack on New York was pretty alright. Honestly, the first 20 minutes of the movie were just alright. I'm glad Siskel and Ebert were in this movie. They were probably the best part in it. That's really about it, though. I can barely remember what any of the characters in this movie do. Matthew Broderick genuinely makes me want to end it all while watching him in this movie.
I do not like this weird Inspector Gadget dude. He ruined Lion King for me.
Literally, the only reason the Baby Zillas are here because back in 1993, Jurassic Park was such a big success that they had hey, you know what, let's just rip up the Velociraptors, but make them little Godzillas, and they look like Muppets. Listen, I don't hate Roland Emmerich, but he clearly was not the best choice to make a Godzilla movie, and that really shows. This movie is basically Independence Day if it was a Godzilla movie. And those two things, sure, they sound like they mix together well, but they really don't. The only reason why this movie isn't the exact worst is because I can at least say it is an actual movie. And not a certified clip show! So yeah, that's really about it. Everything everybody has said about this movie across the internet is right. It is awful. I really wanted to like this movie, but oh well. Godzilla Raids Again sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I get that this is the second Godzilla film, but it's just not good, man. Gojira no Gyakushu is the second Godzilla movie, and you would not believe how long it took to say that. Gojira no Gyakushu. What the hell was that? Gojira no Gyakushu. Gojira no Gyakushu. I can't blame the movie on being that bad. To be fair, it came out 5 months after the original, but to be honest with you, that's kind of on you for releasing a movie that fast. If I had 2 words to describe this movie, it would be banana oil. I don't really like these pilot guys that much, and they're here to stay for the rest of the movie because they're the ones who find Godzilla and Anguirus inside of the island. Plus, the plot of this one is just less interesting because instead of Godzilla going to Tokyo, he's now in Osaka. Ooh, wow, that's, original.
I have watched this movie 4 times for the making of this list, and I literally can't remember a goddamn thing other than the banana oil line. I am not joking. And also, look at this scene. This literally looks like a toy. In fact, I think that is a toy. Well, anyways, I should also mention this is the first Godzilla movie where Godzilla fights another monster, Anguirus, which means that Anguirus is the first Godzilla kaiju other than, of course, Godzilla. And it's okay. When I watch this fight, it reminds me of Gamera vs. Barugon, which, yeah, I know that movie came out 11 years later, but that movie also has the same feel of fighting, where it feels more like 2 animals fighting for land, and unlike most kaiju films, which is just beam fights and wrestling. Surprisingly enough, though, I actually think Gamera vs. Barugon does this fight better, because it's a lot more insane. While over here in Godzilla Raids Again, it just feels like sped up animals circling around each other, just fighting each other back and forth.
Also, anything that happens after the fight is pretty much just a drag. This movie should just end with the fight, because nothing else of significance happens other than burying Godzilla in the snow.
By the way, how come when Godzilla uses his atomic breath earlier in the movie, Anguirus kind of just gets bugged, and then when he tries it later, it kills him? Like, huh? So yeah, Gigantus the fire monster is bad. It should go the way of Godzilla in this movie. Buried under the snow and stuck for 8 years.
Here's one final note about this. This is recorded like with no script at all. The suit for this movie is absolutely terrifying, and for those who ask, yes, I know Man in the Suit exists, and I'd like to mention that although this suit is very scary, that story is very stupid. Okay, that's all I gotta say. Goodbye.
Sorry, I have to say sorry again, but I was never a really big fan of Emperor or of the Deep. There's this weird Godzilla Island era where, like, this and Son of Godzilla both took place on a tropical island. So, anyways, the story in this one is just kind of really boring. This dude literally hijacked this guy's boat, and he's all like, "Oh, I'm gonna send the police after you. After wherever we're going, like you guys look trustworthy." Like, no, dude, you idiot! These guys are robbers. Blast them!
And yes, I understand this guy's also a criminal, but if he was a really smart one, he would have just blasted them.
This one guy's voice makes you want to just start dropping napalm onto my homeland.
You and we are friends. Get it? She doesn't understand.
I do understand.
What's going on up there? Shut up!
I mean, I guess I like the red bamboo, so much so I turned them into the Team Rocket of Kaijumon, which, by the way, if you want to play Kaijumon, join the Discord server. Anyways, Ebera is... This dude is a Kong villain. There's no other way of saying it. Ebera is just a Kong villain. And that can't be since they replaced Kong with Godzilla in this movie. Yeah, this movie was supposed to be a Kong movie, but instead they replaced Kong with Godzilla. You could really tell it was written for Kong in mind, like how Godzilla starts looking at this one girl when he wakes up by a lightning strike, like in King Kong vs. Godzilla. Like, I feel like you might all think I hate the Showa series, but it's actually one of my favorites, I think. You just gotta dig through a lot of kaiju feces before you reach the goated Showa era film. So yeah, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monsters, overall boring. Nothing worthwhile. The character's annoying. The fight is okay. Also, Mothra's in it. Did you know that?
I love anime.
And manga!
Okay, I might have lied about there being 34 films, but I just decided to combine the three of these as one because I do, for the most part, hate them equally, kind of, I will say, except for the last one. The last one's pretty good. I'm, of course, referring to the Godzilla anime trilogy. I like Planet Eater Ghidorah. The story in this one is the only true solid one. I didn't want to shut it off after 10 minutes. I wanted to shut it off after 20 minutes, to be exact. Yeah, I just like calling this trilogy the Missed Potential trilogy, or as I like call it, Attack on Titan, but better. Yeah, I know, I don't like talking about these three. All you need to know is the third one is the least bad, and the second one is and the first one is mid. That's all I'm gonna say. I really have nothing much to say. Honestly, if you want to get disappointed, watch them yourself. They surely are disappointing, I'll tell you that. After looking at a lot of the behind-the-scenes things about the anime trilogy, I'm just realizing the fact that the people who wanted to make a Godzilla movie, but for some apparent reason, the godforsaken director in Toho really did not want this to be like a traditional Godzilla movie for some reason. And instead, we get a lot of wasted potential, even with the human plot. The human plot, which the people who did wanted to do, couldn't do anything with it because they don't do anything with the plot. I get that. I've said basically nothing about them, but they're just not interesting at all. I mean, like, they have interesting concepts, like, you know, big Godzilla and cool little Gundam stuff going on, but that's it. Just boring. Don't really care. Please go to the next one, man. I don't like talking about anime.
Kazuma just tossed me this knife and asked me to, you know, take them out. And then this guy popped up, and then we waited for you, and quite honestly...
That'll work.
To all who come to this happy place,
Godzilla vs. Gigan is a very strange movie. It's the first movies from the 70s era of the Showa series. I would consider Godzilla's Revenge to be a part of it since it fits so well, even though it did not come out during the 70s. It's in fact a 60s film, but you know, it's what I like to call the kiddie-ish era of Godzilla, which is very funny because it has the most blood and swearing in it during that time, so haha.
Hard bitch.
What's that? Would you say that again?
Oh, no, I won't.
I was trying to market to kids. What are they, like a bunch of psychos? So anyways, Godzilla vs. Gigan is another case of just being really boring. The plot is about alien cockroaches using the bodies of dead people to make Disneyland with a bunch of kaijus, but a bunch of stoners try to stop them. I think the director was probably a stoner. I mean, probably. This was directed by the same guy who made Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Also, Godzilla and Anguirus talk, and they sound like the Ultra 7 English dub.
Again, Ultra 7. I've been expecting you. Won't you sit down? What?
Oh, you bit me. Oh, you bit my toe. Oh, my poor toe, that's not fair. I didn't try and hurt you, you know, did I?
Okay, that last one was Kimba the White Lion, but you get the point. King Ghidorah flying in this movie looks like an actual toy. He looks like he belongs in Monster Island Buddies, the YouTube channel. And Gigan is one of my favorite kaijus. I mean, the only way to make this movie not boring is by just watching the English dub, because it at least makes it funny. And if that doesn't work, just watch it with like friends. That makes it way better. I watched it recently again not for this viewing, but for a marathon, and it's funny with friends and in English dubbed. So yeah, you gotta watch it like that. And once again, so much more stock footage. Thank you, Gamera. Like, I think I saw Mothra at one point. Like, I'm not even trying to make a joke. I can't find it, but I know I saw her for a little bit. But yeah, Godzilla vs. Disneyland falls into the same trap as the next 3 movies on the list. Well, that's not true. The next 3 aren't bad anymore. Well, one of them is bad, but the next 3 aren't really that bad. Let's move on. This won't take long. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. This movie is just very boring. The plot is just them trying to suck up Godzilla into a black hole and then bugs come out of it. It's cool that the bugs are the Meganulon from Rodan, but oh, who the hell am I kidding? The only reason why this movie is good just so you can see the final fight. Because nothing else in this movie is as good as this final fight. This final fight is amazing. The rest of the movie is like really mid. Like, it's funny seeing Godzilla absolutely just body slam this bug, and then after that, seeing this goddamn bug stab Godzilla in the ding dong balls areas, if you know what I mean. Like, the fight is the only good thing. That's really about it. It's really boring. I genuinely can't remember a thing, despite the fact I just watched it. It's nothing. I left this movie with nothing. No change, no anything. I mean, I enjoyed the fight. The fight's really funny. One of the funniest fights of the Millennium Era, which is something, you know, that doesn't happen too much in this era. Not a lot of fights are funny unless we're talking about Final Wars. But yeah, no, it left me with nothing, which is why there's absolutely no music playing as I talk about this one.
Hey, yo, the pizza here.
Godzilla vs. Megalon is the actual lowest point in the entire Showa series except for Godzilla's Revenge, but it's also the funniest thing ever made. The movie that is notorious for its 6-month-long development cycle. Yes, this movie was made in 6 months, can you tell? Godzilla vs. Megalon is not, if not the most epic movie ever made, with Jet Jaguar, a character literally designed by a children, and a man who made him like the most unappealing thing imaginable. That's not a joke, look it up on Wikizilla. People complain about the human scenes are also boring as all sin. You know, they are. But I find enjoyment just on how bad the dubbing is, because this movie is even better in English, since it sounds like everybody recorded their audio and a submarine at 3 a.m. while their mom is asleep in the other room.
Oh, people, today, Zootopia goes to war.
This movie is so epic. It has one of the best fights in the series. I'm not joking, by the way. This may actually be the greatest fight in the entire Godzilla series, ignoring the stock footage. We got the tag team, the Ring of Fire, the funny punch, the atomic no-scope, and of course, that iconic dropkick. Cinematic masterpiece. If you've never seen Godzilla vs. Megalon, then you truly haven't lived in this world yet. Godzilla vs. Megalon is a cinematic marvel to behold, and is one of the greatest films of all time. Truly is one of the most influential works of the entire Showa era of Japan. It's got action, it's got family, it's got everything you would want in a movie, all together, all perfectly made. In fact, there has never been a movie that has perfectly encapsulated everything I ever wanted in a movie, more so than in Godzilla vs. Megalon.
やったぜジャガー行け行け平和を守るためみんなも驚く勇気を見せるゴジラとジャガーでパンチパンチパンチ泣くな僕らも頑張ろう